WWE 2K26's MyFaction is back. And there's a lot to talk about with it because, man, did World Tour take me for a spin in 2K25. And it pretty much took for a spin most of y'all, right? I mean, that's how I feel about it. Let's go on ahead and get into it. WWE 2K26's MyFaction pretty much fairly looks very similar to the past couple of years, and the aspects are pretty much the same. You see weekly towers, you see faction wars, and you see World Tour, which again, we're gonna go on ahead and get into that. But lastly, live events are still in the game, which that seems to be the heartbeat of the mode, right? That's what a lot of people seem to talk about every single year, in my opinion. So that's just my 2 cents with that. The MyFaction mode starts with allowing you to pick between starter cards, and the options for that is Jade Cargill, Rey Fenix, Obafemi, and Roxanne Perez. If you guys are not familiar with that, it's basically a card that you get to kind of help you get through challenges, usually a high gold. And the first thing I noticed was that when I was in my lineup screen, now it's not just women and men having their separate rosters. You're able to mix them now because the mode is intergender, for those that did not know. Aside from that, the lineup screen and everything else was pretty much very similar to what we're used to seeing the past couple years. And one thing the devs were able to point out is how for collector levels now, when they give out MyFaction points, you're able to choose whether you want MyFaction points or tokens, which I think it's a welcome addition to the mode because this is something that I feel has been a pet peeve of mine as somebody who likes to collect when they're into this mode, where the MyFaction points just aren't nearly enough, and that's been a problem the last couple years for me at least. And they did mention that we will be seeing more MyFaction points and just better rewards throughout the collector levels in terms of currency. So it is nice to have either option if you're at a point where you need more tokens or more MyFaction points. Now, first thing I did was go on a World Tour as soon as I opened this mode and set my lineup up, and I was able to check out, okay, this mode is back. I'm able to now see what's going on, and it looked like there was 3 different regions. The first one started with Orlando, the other one started with Osaka, and the other one started with London, right? And that was something to me that I'm like, okay, this seems like a different direction, because when we got World Tour last year for the first time, a lot of the cities and locations were already fleshed out for us with another update in April. And man, did I talk to these devs about MyFaction. I really did, y'all. Like, those guys are really receptive to feedback, which it just makes them so easy to speak to. And World Tour was definitely something that I spoke to them about, because that mode I feel was the most important thing added to MyFaction last year. Coming from them, they mentioned that they did love the mode, and there was just certain things that they just couldn't do on time, and there was just a lot of variables around it, right? And listen, man, MyFaction this year, it seems like they have a plan. They mentioned that they're going to be updating World Tour a lot more in frequent, smaller updates. That way, it's not so overwhelming to them as a team to get a large update out, which I feel that's what happened. When you go into faction wars, you start to see that, you know, it's pretty much the same, right? I didn't get to step into the rewards, but that was pretty much it with that. And weekly towers, again, pretty much the same. Every single week, something new unlocks. If you keep up, you're gonna get nice prizes down the road, and it gives you something to do every week that it drops, you know. And I'm not really against any of these things being in the game, because if I'm being honest, this is pretty much like their formula at this point. This is something that's been in the game for a long time since the game decided to debut this mode. So this to me was just a given, right? Seeing it there, I would have been surprised if I didn't see it there. I'll just put it like that. And live events did make their way back, and they brought in a match type called Quick Swap. And I was able to play that through one of the live events. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, this match type is not PvP. They did mention they are trying to get it in, but nothing is guaranteed, of course. And for me personally, that was the first thing I asked. Is it PvP? Because my experience with this match was so fun. Now, I know that opinions go a different way when it comes down to stuff like this being added in the game, but as long as it's not interrupting exhibition, who cares if it's exclusive to a mode? Like, that's cool. That's cool with me. And I really did enjoy playing it because it felt like you had to strategize. And as you're doing different moves, obviously finishers on other people goes a little bit crazier because of the stats. So you can always quick swap and hit them with that finisher. And again, it's just a strategy thing. And the CPU was going crazy, bro. I mean, I was getting hit, and then they would quick swap and then quick swap again right back to back. So there's a lot going on in this match. But again, as long as you're strategizing, you are going to feel good about it. And I really did enjoy this match type. That was one of the things that the devs asked me to try for myself, and I really didn't have much of a negative to say. It's either you like it or you don't. It's not something that's poorly done, in my opinion, and that match will be very subjective once the game comes out. I have to go on ahead and assume, with the audience and the crowd being able to finally play it. And just a few things to point out with this match type. While you're playing it, you're going to notice that it is elimination style. I'm not sure if it's going to be like that the whole time, but you need to go on ahead and eliminate it. Most of the time, you're going to be able to quick swap through 4 characters, at least from what I saw. It could be 2, it could be 3. I mean, they really didn't specify that, but I was able to see the 4-on-4 elimination styled match. So once you get eliminated or pinned with that certain wrestler, you no longer can quick swap to that certain wrestler. So I really did find that intriguing as you're playing, especially if this ever goes online. Just a couple things that I wanted to go on ahead and point out for y'all. Let's continue. Now, the big thing for me and the negative is that the card market is still in the game. I was able to express, you know, the problems with just a card market and no auction house. Because card market, you have to wait till 2K decides to put those cards in there. With an auction house, you're able to put those cards up, and the community is almost able to dictate the way the market works. And, you know, if cards get cheaper over time, cards get cheaper over time. And the card market obviously has a way where cards get cheaper over time, but sometimes it feels like there's just so much going on that they just forget about the card market. And that was something that I really was hoping was gone this year. And that's where it comes in, and I say, okay, MyFaction is very, very similar to the last couple years, and that's where my take is kind of at. If I'm being completely honest, I really was hoping to see a bigger change and more aspects to this mode being put in, right? Because I love what they did with the quick swap. I like what they're doing with World Tour, but I really felt like, okay, you look at Ultimate Team modes and other games, and this one still feels like it's a couple years behind. And that's where I'm at with the auction house. And I think that at this point, there should be a way to figure out how can we get this auction house in here to make this mode feel different and make it feel more like a trading card game. And that's where I stand with that. That's where my disappointment comes in with the card market still being a part of the game. I would have really loved to see an auction house, and I made sure to let them know that at the event as well. I went ahead and opened packs, and I was able to go on ahead and check out the odds and see how things work. And I believe these were the odds, right? I don't think that these odds were boosted in any way or capacity, but you are able to pull the nice cards. I was able to pull like 3-4 good cards in my bundle. And for me personally, something else that I was wanting to see with MyFaction this year is seeing higher overall cards in the game instead of pulling packs for these 70 overall cards. That to me is kind of a thing where I don't know how to feel about it. Every other Ultimate Team mode that I play, it seems like it really just starts a little bit more fast-paced, but I understand that they have their formula, and that's pretty much that. I just would have liked to see more with MyFaction and the cards instead of sticking to the same old 70-something overall cards. That's where I stand with that. Oddity cards are still in the game, so you're able to still use personas. I was seeing the King Booker persona as well, which that seems to be in the game now 3 years in a row. If that's something that just wasn't there as a placeholder, which I'm not completely sure on. It could very well be a placeholder just so we don't spoil it, but that's something that I was able to notice with that in MyFaction. Oh boy, and I almost forgot about this feature because I did not get to check it out at Creator Fest, but one of the newest things in MyFaction this year is the team chemistry system, which is actually pretty cool if you're doing anything extra with the matches. And there are a total of 60 traits across 10 different categories, which will provide negative and positive effects, which I think is definitely going to be cool. I did hear at some point that this could be with the real life WWE and kind of just align with it. I'm not too sure about that just yet, but nonetheless, I do love another aspect making its way into the game and making things feel a little bit different with team chemistries. Hopefully though, this is an update that does stay up to date and something that's just given the proper maintenance that it needs. Again, y'all, all I want is the best for this mode because I genuinely do think that it has tons of potential, and I do enjoy it when they are doing the right thing with the mode. And this is one of the modes that I really do want to see take that big leap forward, whether it's with an auction house, a better ranked mode. I just really want to see the game improve in all aspects, in all modes, and that's the reason why I'm so glad that these last 2 years I've been able to speak to the devs and make sure that our thoughts get heard as well. But if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, make sure to stay tuned. I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.